We're going to talk with the new head coach of the Washburn women's basketball team. Laura Weston will join us as they play their first game of the year exhibition play against the Nebraska Huskers. That's right, up in Lincoln on Sunday. We'll get to that coming up as well. But right now, we bring in head coach Greg Short of the Washburn Ichabods, and the Ichabods 5-3 on the year after a 37-9 win over the Central Oklahoma Broncos. And coach, anytime you get a homecoming win, it's a good thing. You can beat a good team that's won 4 in a row, and you handled the elements, I thought, so well. It was windy. Oh man, it was windy up in the boot. And you had some of the flags on top of Whiting, Old Glory North End Zone. Was it one of the more windier games that you played?
Yeah, it was. And usually when the winds come from the south, we have the infield, we have the brick center, we have the arc field, and it breaks it up. Down on the field, Kelvin throws a really tight spiral. I don't think it affected the ball too much, but the kicking game, once the ball got up in the air, punts and field goals, of course, would be affected. And punting is affected tremendously. And so I thought Jake did a great job punting the ball in the win. But I was debating, at the coin toss you can defer, which gives the other team the first choice. So they can defer, and then you get the choice to the second half. And usually you want to split who gets the ball. So someone gets the ball in the first half, so it's supposed to. But sometimes the elements are a factor. So the win, you could actually give up a possession and take the win. So you get off to a good start and that kind of thing. But I didn't feel like it was that strong. So I think we won the toss deferred. They took the ball. They deferred. We took the ball. We didn't give because sometimes you can say, "Well, I'll just get the win." And we actually, when we played the Northwest Missouri way back in the playoff game, it was windy from the north, and the north wind hits Jaguar Stadium. It comes down, it affects the game, it affects their passing. And I would have definitely Churchill right at the last second. He told me to change his mind, and he took the win. And I was going to take the win for sure because it was one of those wins that you can get pinned like the entire quarter, and you don't want to start the game off like that. So if you're playing downhill the first quarter, you can jump on a team and get 20 points. But anyway, we were against the wind. They didn't score. Once the field flipped, then we played downhill the whole second half and got a lead. And then we were going to get the win in the third quarter. And it felt like we got off to a fast start in the third quarter to take the game over. And we did. And like you mentioned in your previous comments, our defense played all season. Very consistent. We tackled well. We didn't have any big plays. We never let them figure out. So we took care of the elements pretty well and took the field on them and played downhill.
And it's an interesting decision. Of course, whoever wins the toss, if they defer, you're going to take the football. You don't worry about the wind kind of at that point in time. But Fletch and I were wondering what they would do in the second half. Do you take the football or do you take the win? Because you're behind. So you take the football. That was one question we had. What was Adam Grohl going to do? So he took the football. Then we were, okay, what does head coach Greg Short do? We thought, do you want the win in the fourth quarter? So in case, it's only a 9-0 game. It's not like you expect it to be a blowout. So we were wondering, okay, do you want the win in the fourth quarter in case you want to kick a field goal?
Right.
Or do you want to take the win in the third quarter and do, as you said, really go up 9-0, maybe score, 10 more points, and if you hold them, then you're up 19-0, and then you hold on for dear life. So, what was your thought process there?
I kind of asked the coaches, and it was kind of split, and I like, especially with the lead, I was like, I want the win to start, and then hopefully we can pile on. Maybe we can pile on another 7, 10, 14 points. And now for one quarter, you have that kind of lead. You can run the ball and hold on and milk the clock because then you know what you have to do. And it worked out great. And the key is you couldn't let them have a long drive and take up all that time. And we didn't. Our defense did a great job. And then pretty soon, our starting field position in that third quarter was awesome. and then you start, you feel like as a team you're playing downhill. And then, we got a big enough lead going in the fourth quarter, you weren't worried about the ball.
So let's look at this game as Washburn beats Central Oklahoma 37-9, and they take the football. You get a stop and get the ball back, and they're going kind of with the wind, and it's feeling good, and it's 4th and 1. They run just a handoff play, and your defensive line just absolutely stuffed them. And I thought that was the turning point of the game that quickly, because they didn't get any points with the win. They got none, 0.
That's huge.
And that kind of sparked the defense.
Sure, it stopped, and they missed a field goal. Because really in that first half, they had the ball on our side of the field, and they had control of the game, but they had no points, like you mentioned. So when the field flipped, you can kind of talk to your players, say, now it's our turn. And we eventually cashed in and got a field goal. And the field goal, you felt good. Cameron, before the game, you felt like if you got the ball to 40, you could kick a field goal with that win. Going the other way, you didn't get it to about 20 or 15. So the field goals we felt very comfortable with. And scoring a touchdown late was huge. He missed the extra point. He was going off the upright, but getting that touchdown in the half was big. So going in to score lead was big.
Washburn got a 26-yard field goal from Cameron Lake in the second quarter, but then a 15-play drive. You had one 16-play drive and one 15-play drive just to go hamstring, articulating the ball down the field, which was great. And you had a lot of good helping, no Colin Wilson. I thought honestly the key play in the first half, Cole Kelly. It's 3rd down and 18. Redshirt freshman, catches it a 5-yard route. And he takes it, crosses the 20-yard line, 1st and 10, and you guys are in business. And then the other big play was their unsportsmanlike penalty. Those are the 2 biggest plays that resulted in those 9 points. If you take one of those, both those plays, it's 0-0 again. But I thought the pass play to Keller and the offense just kept on churning out first downs, kept the big 3rd downs, and that ends up being 9-0 because the defense wins them.
Yeah, the 3rd down conversions were huge, and we had those impact plays we do, and we had that as an impact play. And Cole really stepped up. He did a good job. At Northwest, had some key catches, and he's a big target. Kind of has that Jace Williams frame, and he gets up a lot of yards once he gets that strike ball. So he caught that under route. We had the route behind him was a deeper route, so he pulled a bunch of guys, and then he got the first, which was huge. The 3rd and long like that we don't usually get, but we were very good on 3rd downs. And our defense was really good on 3rd down. And those are the 3rd down stats are huge in a game usually. Turnovers obviously are big. 3rd down conversions is such a big stat, and then explosives. So if you have some big chunk plays and you limit those, and you're good on 3rd down and you limit those, you usually win. And those are key stats. And they're really good on those potentials.
The Washburn Eagles go 9-0 to start the second quarter. Then you've got the wind, and the defense again coming up huge in this game. 3 interceptions for the defense. 1 by Brendan Harden, 1 by Mike Esquivo, 1 by Shannon Ross. All safeties. They played excellent. The D-line was so good. They got pressure on Steph Brown all game long. Phoenix Smith with 2 sacks. Everybody, I know Phoenix got 2 big sacks, but Braden Rose had a good game, it looked like, in that one. It was just a complete effort defensively to give the football back. I think at one point in time, in the second quarter to the 3rd quarter, they didn't have a first down, we figured, for over an hour. I mean, it was incredible because of the 3 and outs plus the interceptions, and the final score is 37-9. I mean, really the game was over when it was 30-3, to be honest with you. So the last drive really didn't amount to much. But in that second quarter, it turned into the J.J. Letcher show, which is always a fun show to watch. I enjoy it. I know every time he touches the ball, everybody holds their breath a little bit. But he gets a rushing touchdown, 12-yard rushing touchdown in the Wildcat. And Fletch and I both have said, you know what, Wildcat, it's a unique situation because I like Kellen Swanson having the football. I think it's great. But if there's one guy that I want doing things, It's number 13, and I'm okay with J.J. Letcher. When Northwest had Jamar Moya run the Wildcat, both Letcher and I were celebrating. We're like, good, you take it out of the guy who can make plays with his feet and his arm. Moya is not J.J. Letcher. J.J. is special, and sure enough, leaps over buildings with a single bound, jukes a deep defender, and then just rolls into the end zone. I mean, it's an impressive run, and that's one guy that I go, I'm all right in the Wildcat because that guy can do everything.
Yeah, he is. He's so smooth. We don't practice it very much. We just do it a few times on Thursdays or whatever, and we've had it in, and it was a good coach. It's good down in the scoring zone too, because teams now maybe they're in man coverage or whatever. They're a little more aggressive and getting the ball in his hands right away. And like you said, he made a couple guys miss, but now they're doing blocks ahead of him. But he's special.
The Ichabod's get an interception. 2 plays later, you're back in the end zone, and a lot of people don't like the fade. I see a lot of people, I don't like the fade route. The fade route's a bad route. And I said, no, it's not. It's not a bad route. You got to have the right guy to catch it. Most people wouldn't think throwing a fade to a 5'7" wide receiver. But here's the thing. The ball's on the left hash. He's got all this space. You're going to play press man, and nobody gets off the line of scrimmage better than J.J. Letcher. He put that DB in a blender and just ran towards the end zone, and it wasn't really much more of a fade. It was just kind of a go route in the end zone. But that's what you can do when you've got that much space, and you got a guy who you are petrified he's going to run a slant route. And then Simoncic has the arm strength to get it to him. I thought it was honestly like a Friday afternoon, pitch and catch.
Yeah, you practice that a lot versus press coverage. The team's going to press you. Like you said, the slant's good, some of the hitches and stuff like that. But you got to get them running. So the fade is your threat to make them run and turn the hips. And if you can be good at the fade, now you've got everything. And so everybody practices it. You try to get your receivers to gain position on the D-back or just beat them. And then you got to keep it in bounds. You can D-back will run you out of bounds. But JJ had space, and he is good. He's good on the release and kind of sets it up. And then he has some receivers can go get the ball, like they can change speed, and he can not look at it and look and see where it is and then judge it and go get it like a center fielder does in baseball. He has that ability, and he made it look real easy. And like you said, we practice that. We usually in our practices on Thursdays. Quarterbacks, so you have to warm up. We do a lot of special teams at the beginning of practice, so we call fade day, and they practice the fade from 5 to 10 to 15 to 20, 25 on both sides, and they just get that. It's almost like a jump shooter practicing 3-pointers from the different spots. You just get that touch, and usually our quarterbacks get pretty good at it, but it's a simple route. And like you said, in the NFL game, you see a lot of it because, defenses are so stout, the receivers are so big, and the D-backs aren't good enough to play, and so they do a lot of fades, so people make fun of it. But college game, a little different, but yeah, it was very effective. Kellen, that was a true RPO, so there was a run involved with it. He saw the matchup, just took the ball and threw the fade, and it was good.
Talking with head coach Craig Sherrick here at Skinny Sports Bar and Grill, part of the Washburn Coaches Show, as the Ichabod's 5-3 on the year. We'll take on Northeastern State down in Tahlequah, Doc Riley Stadium on Saturday, 2:00 kickoff. And at halftime, what do you tell the guys? It's 9-0, so it's not like you're blowing them out. Defense is playing excellent. I mean, you got to think that this might be one of the more, hey, guys, just do what you've been doing.
Yeah, and we had the extra time because of homecoming and all that. Defense always does a nice job. Usually there's more adjustments on defense and offense. Offense, you kind of get with the receivers and see what they like, receiving wise and how they're seeing the coverages. Same with the quarterbacks. You make sure everybody's on the same page. We felt good about our run game, and so we wanted to incorporate that in the second half. Also, we were like, hey, we got the ball. More than likely we're going to have the win in the third quarter, so we want to attack. And then we just said defense. The biggest thing you can do is have a good start to this thing and get the ball back to the O, and they did. And like you mentioned, I thought our defense, the way we tackled finished rushes. We've been close to the quarterback and haven't had sacks and let the quarterback get loose. And their quarterback's a very good runner, and we finished plays on him, which was impressive. So when you can finish the deal like we did, it really sets you up. And then, and then he started forcing things, and we got those picks. And we haven't had a lot of turnovers But that's huge. We got the ball right back to a hot offense, and you could tell their defense was getting gassed out. So that was good.
Yeah, defensively, they got 2 first downs on their first drive. They finished 2 the rest of the game on third down, just 4 of 17 on third down. You know, the Ichabod's taking care of business. I thought Tice Brown had another good catch and run.
Yep.
Really good game from Tice Brown. 7 receptions for 68 yards. Had the touchdown. Great catch, get upfield. Dives into the end zone. Was terrific. And then the exclamation point on this one, JJ been telling me, he's like, I got to get a punt return. I've gone my entire career and I don't have a punt return for a touchdown. I believe he's had 2 called back. I believe one against Emporia and one other one called back earlier, I think his sophomore year. And so he's been 1-1, and in this situation, they kick it, the wind outkicked his coverage. JJ made one guy miss and was able to outrun everybody else, got a couple good blocks on a return right, and no one really got within 5 yards of him. And that was the play that set him the career record.
Yeah,
how great is that? Washburn's all-purpose record is 5,216, and it belongs to J.J. Letcher, which is receiving, rushing, and kick returning, anything, any type of all-purpose outside of the quarterback throwing it. That doesn't count because they have 4,000 yards. But anything that once you get the ball, it's yours and you take off, that is what is all-purpose. And nobody better in Washburn history than J.J. Letcher.
That's pretty cool. And it is fitting that he did it on a punt return. He's got exceptional hands on the punt. Punts are hard to catch, particularly in the wind and all that stuff. Your punter's good. We were hoping he'd get off a good one because it's like, okay, he's going to outkick the coverage as long as our guys are smart with their blocks. And they were awesome. It was like a clinic thing. Coach Oz runs our special teams, and he put it up there. You can't have blindside blocks anymore, so you teach them what we call a tricep punch. And they kind of roll with it, and you screen the guy. That's what you're after. Because if you really hit a guy blindside, they call it every time. And they or a block in the back, and nobody did that. They did it just to perfection. There was like 5 or 6 of them, and the guys just really did well. And obviously, he makes a couple guys miss early, and then their back wall was linemen. And so on the tape, it's kind of interesting. On the sidelines, you see everyone going, touchdown, and he's about on the 30. So he's about on the 30. That's 30 yards to go. You can see the whole sideline going like this because we knew that their back wall was linemen. They weren't going to catch him, and so he just, but it was great that it was a return. I think that got him that yardage. He's a special returner, and hopefully he gets a chance at the next level. The kickoff returns aren't as big a deal anymore because they kick a guy in the end zone. But punt returns are a big deal in the NFL. If you can find a guy that is just catches them effortlessly, and then they won't roll. So he'll catch everything and get you a couple first downs, and every yard at that level is crucial, and it's crucial at all levels of football. But the NFL, if you get a guy that gets you a first down every time he catches a punt, that's huge, and he won't drop the punts.
And it also shows you the toughness, man. Because I'm not gonna lie to you, Coach, I'm glad you didn't ask me to do that. I'm not going to be looking at a football and someone's rolling at me 100 miles an hour. That takes some toughness up there, mental toughness, because there's a chance you're going to get hit hard. But he's never. I mean, he's smooth with that.
He's really smooth. And he catches one-handed like practice. He'll catch one, and like one hand, he catches the other one. He can let it go, and then he catches it over his shoulder, and he just plays with it. And he's very much like, it's like a really good center fielder in baseball. Can take his eye off the ball, see where the wall is. You know what I mean? He just has that feel for it, and that's how he does it. You don't even have to think about it.
The Washburn offense was outstanding. The defense, they gave up 252 yards in the game, which that in and of itself is exceptional. And then when you look at it with 37 seconds to go, they get 74 yards. That means they held Central Oklahoma to 175 yards in the game, because the score's 37-3. Yeah. There's 5 minutes to go in the game. It's over. Think about defense. You cannot say enough superlatives about how well they play. We'll get a quick time out. We'll get some highlights from the game against Central Oklahoma. We will get into a couple of key performers, and then we'll have another edition of questions from a former player. We'll get to that. We will also preview the Riverhawks, then we'll talk with Laura Weston, head coach of the Washburn women's team. All of that coming up here on the Washburn Coaches Show live from Skinny.
Yeah, I need to know that one. So you can't just walk right in front of my cameras. Okay.
highlights for the Ichabod's win over the Central Oklahoma Broncos. JJ Electric gets the hat trick. Rushing, receiving, and on a punt return. The only thing he missed is throwing a touchdown pass, but JJ Letcher, pretty impressive afternoon. 78 yards on the punt return, 67 yards receiving, and he also chipped in a little 12-yard touchdown run as the Washburn Ichabod's get the victory. As we are here at Skinny Sports Bar and Grill for the Washburn Coaches Show. Coming out to Skinny's. Don't forget, Monday through Friday from 11 to 2. 3 hours. That's the lunch special. $5.49 cheeseburger and fries here at Skinny Sports Bar and Grill. We're talking with head coach Craig Shirkin. You were joking on the team thought, oh, he's going to go. Well, Fletcher saw that JJ got the ball even before midfield. You're like, he was at the 40-yard line. He's going, he's going to go. We weren't even at midfield, and he's thinking it.
But yeah. He saw that out that he was going.
That is a kick returner knowing what a punt returner is dealing with for that. So Washburn Ichabod's get the win 37-9, taking care of business against Central Oklahoma. They take on Northeastern State. We'll get to that in just a little bit. But I do want to bring up some defensive players. You mentioned Phoenix Smith. Phoenix Smith now has 4 sacks on the year and a lot of tackles. Also, Patrick Alter, I thought, has played very well as a youngster. Ray Rose, even seniors, Daniel Piper, but boy, Phoenix Smith and Patrick Alter really stepped up this year.
Yes, they have. And Phoenix started out. They were definitely D-line. And he kind of what he's been through. He had like a shoulder surgery last year. He started out on a work team. And we tell those guys, particularly the older guys, not the freshmen so much, but hey, you work hard, keep working hard, and you're going against the number 1 O-line and their backups. And if you're doing well, you probably move up, And that's how he started the year, and he was doing a great job. He's had a great attitude and plays on fire. And he started getting that pass rush move down. He's very fast, and he started using his hands, and he started winning against our good line men. So we moved back to the All-Stars were, and he made good on it, and he finished it. He's made some rushes, and he took that big quarterback down by himself one time and caused a lot of pressures. And like I said, Patrick's been playing like that now for a year and plays with great effort. You mentioned Urban. Urban made one really fantastic play. He was on the ground. They cut it. It was on the ground. He got up so fast. It was like he never felt that he was on the sack. It was just amazing how much hustle he has. But the D-line has really played well all year. And now they're starting to, they finish the play. And like you mentioned, the defense is that was part of that team year in finishing plays and really working as a unit, not giving up any, really not able to cheat passes. Our secondary played well also, and he get 3 picks. That's a huge.
I do have to know, is Grant Bruder okay? He only had 9 tackles.
Yeah, I know it.
So what's the deal?
Yeah.
I got to talk to Grant about that. Obviously, he's working too hard with his painting company. It's unacceptable, Grant. 104 tackles in 8 games. That's some Zach Watkins.
Yeah.
That really is. I always try to point this out on the broadcast. So, Grant Bruder's got 104 tackles. The leading tackler for Central Oklahoma has 53. He has doubled pretty much the leading tackler of Northeastern State. There's not enough, that's crazy to me.
Yeah, and like I said, and he finishes the tacklers up. He kind of ties them up in the legs. His wrestling background helps, I'm sure. And he's so smart. He recognizes the play design, and he's there before the lineman can get to it. And he attacks the play just like we want. And we knew going into the season he's kind of the core leader of that defense, and he's played up to that.
We're talking with head coach Craig Shirk here at Skinny Sports Bar and Grill. We'll get another quick timeout. Coming up next, we are going to have another edition of questions from the former, another defensive guy, Go back to the defensive side of things, and boy, he had a terrific senior season. We'll get to that. We'll preview Northeastern State, then we're going to talk with the head coach of the Washburn women's team. They're in action on Sunday. That's crazy that they're in action on Sunday. We'll get to first-year head coach Laura Westland coming up here from the Washburn Coaches Show. For event to engage here in the capital city. Coming out Skinny, we got Thursday night football. The Bucks taking on the Ravens today. So coming out, that's on Prime Video. Of course, we'll have all of that right here at Skinny Sports Bar and Grill. Saturday, the K-State game. They take on Oklahoma State. All the TVs will be there for K-State versus Oklahoma State. So come on out. So, of course, the Chiefs are off. We still have all the games on Sunday and, of course, Monday Night Football here at Skinny Sports Bar and Grill. Let's dive into another edition of questions from a former Washburn Ichabod player. And this is a unique one. I went with a one-year player. He only played for the Washburn Ichabods for 1 year. That's it. 1 year. But boy, he had an impressive 1 year. Here is another edition for questions from the former. So that was good old DJ Olmstead, the 1-year player. Fun fact, he had 3 interceptions and he had 3 touchdowns. Took them all back for scores as a senior. Of course, out of Arizona, transferred from Idaho, and was outstanding. Second team all conference, really good free safety for the Washburn Ichabods. But he mentions the Angelo State win. Apparently a bunch of guys were singing some songs before the game. That worked out well because you put a thumping on Angelo State. So that was one of his favorite memories. Did you hear the guys singing the songs?
I remember that. Yeah, we were in the locker room and they set it up. They really did a nice job at that bowl game. So they had a JUCO bowl in the afternoon, then ours was in the evening. And then once they were out in the locker room, they put little name tags up in the locker. They had like a nice little touch. And then the guys had their music, and then they were all singing after that. It was pretty cool. And DJ's a really unique player. We recruited him out of Zach Watkins recruited him out of the Arizona Junior College. And we're like, hey, this kid, he's a day one starter. He'll be a leader right away. Free safety, perfect free safety for our defense. And we thought we had him. And then Idaho jumped in. It was like, oh, shoot. But we stayed in contact with him, and then things didn't work out at Idaho. And I was like, yeah, you come here. And he is, and you don't usually have a 1-year guy be a captain, team leader, all those things. And that's just DJ. And he got along with everyone, offense, defense, and he's a true captain leader. And he made huge plays. And I've been thinking that in that whole game, he was one that, either he or someone else, but he did it originally in an earlier game. He punched the ball. That was the ball game. We kind of grabbed him, punched it loose, and then we returned it, and it changes a possible, big-time play for them into a huge negative, and we reversed the field. That was kind of the end of the game. We did make good on that and kept them out. But that was fun. We had a really good transition that year, won that bowl game, and it really felt good for those kids. And the coaches and everyone. We played a good Angelo State team. They were a good team. We played very well. And then I knew he was going to be a coach, so he was going to GA for us. Then I think he got married and he got into real estate and he's coaching now too. But his passion for the game and knowledge of the game and his attention to detail, and he really loves the kids and his ability to communicate. He'll be a great coach, and it'll just be a matter of time before he's head coach or a coordinator or whatever, and maybe somehow he can get tied into the college game because his knowledge of the game is really good. He just communicated so well back there and got people lined up and took command. That's what you want from a free safety. They have to take command of the coverage and with motions and all that stuff. And like you said, when he got an interception, he returned it. Kind of like Fletch. He just didn't want to make a tackle. He wanted to get the turnover. He didn't want to just, hey, I made an interception. He wanted to make an interception and score. And if you have that kind of mindset, it really helps the other guys have that kind of mindset. So he was a true leader, and that kind of mindset he has transitions into coaching, no problem. And he's a tremendous player, great person. He even came back. Here's the kind of guy he is. We had that banquet in January. He's already back home, and he was the defensive player of the year for us and all that stuff. And usually kids like that, they're like, hey, we'll get you a reward, we'll mention it. He goes, oh, no, I'm coming. And so he came back out, just for the bank, and just a tremendous team guy. And we'll stay in contact with him. We still do. He gives us some leads on some kids in the high school area or wherever in Arizona for recruiting. And DJ's always part of our family.
Any advice?
Yeah, I'd say for DJ for sure, it's just go with what works for you, and that's it just shows to the kids. So he just has to be himself. So his passion for the game, his communication skills, love for the kids, and just take it year by year, and things will happen for him. He just has to. Sometimes it's hard to get fully into it, and you have to, maybe sacrifice some things. You can't sacrifice your family. You may have to sacrifice some. Maybe he's on the upscale for real estate, and making big bucks. But if he really wants to coach, he can definitely do it, and he's made the coach for sure.
All righty, before we let you go, I gotta know Northeastern State, the record 1-7, but they hung close with Missouri Western. That was a game going into the fourth quarter. Start's going to be big. Don't give them that confidence, I would think, in this one.
We played very well when we started well, that's for sure. We've been good on the road, so we've had a lot of energy on the road. Hopefully we'll bring that energy. That's a scary game, the Missouri Western game. They really should have would have won, but Western did a great job in the last 5 minutes of the game. But hopefully we can start fast and ride that momentum. I feel like we're playing really well. We played really well against Hayes, played well against Northwest, just didn't get the win. And we played our best game of the year so far against Central Oaks. So we want to keep riding that wave, and hopefully game by game just keep getting better.
Best of luck.
Thank you, Jake. I appreciate you.
That is head coach Greg Sherd of the Washburn Athletics. 2 o'clock kickoff, 1:30 pregame coverage right here on your home for Washburn Athletics, Country 1069, mycountry1069.com. Coming up next year from Skinny, we're going to talk with first-year head coach Laura Westland. She takes over her alma mater. We'll talk all things Washburn women's hoops as they tip off coming up on Sunday. It's all coming up next year from Skinny Sports Bar and Grill. show will be back here next Thursday, leading into the final home game for the Washburn football team, but also leading into the first games of the regular season for Washburn men's and women's basketball. That is on the 11th and the 12th. Great news for the Washburn women. Their first 4 games are going to be at home. They'll take on Southwest Oklahoma on the 11th. They're going to take on Oklahoma Baptist on the 12th, and another Friday, Saturday at Lee Arena. So the Washburn women are going to be playing at Lee Arena. Come on out to Lee Arena the first 2 Fridays, or the second 2 Fridays of November on the 11th and 12th and the 18th and 19th. But the Washburn women are on the road in the first game of the year exhibition play against the Nebraska Cornhuskers. 1 o'clock with the tip-off. 12:45 pregame coverage right here on your home for Washburn Athletics Country 106.9 Washburn women's basketball. And we welcome in the first-year head coach of the Washburn women's basketball team. She is back where she belongs, right here at her alma mater. Laura Wesley joining us in her first ever game as the head coach of the Washburn women's basketball team, but not unfamiliar. Played from 01 to 05, part of the national championship team. She was one of the captains of the team. She's also in the record books. Laura's not going to like me saying this, but we're going to do it anyways. 6th all-time in made threes, 10th all-time in assists, and 6th all-time in games played as a Washburn Lady Blue then. You're now in Ichabod. Laura Wessling joining us. And Laura, I got to know, nervous, excited for Sunday? How do you kind of compartmentalize everything? Being a head coach here at your alma mater?
Yeah, I'm just really excited. There's really no nervousness going in. Playing a Big Ten school, we all know how that's supposed to work out for us. I think the exciting thing and the challenge for us is to put all of these things we've been working on for weeks and weeks and preseason and, start to apply them into competitive situations. It gets really old competing against just the same people every day. And we're fortunate we had a scrimmage last night, so it's not completely our first time on the floor, but then we're going to go against, a top 20 one team who really see where we're at. So there's really no sugarcoating how much progress we've made. We're going against some of the best basketball players in the country, and we wouldn't have it any other way. We talk to the girls repeatedly. It doesn't matter if we've got Nebraska in front of us or, preschool team. We want to approach it the same way. We want to compete the same way, and we want to go out and try and win the game.
What's been I guess I should say, how was the transition? And you've done this before, because you've been a head coach at 2 different stops, most recently at Western in Gunnison, Colorado, part of the RMAC. You started it there. So do you take some of what you did there to here? What's the toughest part? How has the transition been on taking over?
Yeah, it's a lot of fun because the first steps is really getting inside the program, meeting with the players, talking to the staff, looking at the environment of the school and what you're going to be selling in the recruiting cycle. And so that all of those different facets keep it unique, keep the process unique in a rebuild in some of the places I was. Here, obviously, not a rebuild is not the term I would use, but kind of a reinsertion. Rejuvenation maybe, and we're so fortunate at Washburn to, with the commitment to athletics, to having an unbelievable academic program to offer for youth, support systems. I could go on and on, but it's not quite like this long haul effort. We expect results quickly. We expect to have people back with the upper echelon. Because of the resources and because of the institution of Washburn.
When it comes to playing in the MIAA, do you tell them, hey, I've been in your shoes? The MIAA, to be honest with you, even going back to when you played, hasn't changed a whole lot. We know it's going to be a league-level competition. You know it's going to be physical. That's the one thing that I look at the MIAA. It's a physical league where if you go, to some other leagues around the area, I don't think they're as physical. Does it help that you can relate to them saying, hey, I played these games, I played in these shoes, I know what to expect? Does that help them to relate to the players? Because you've been there. You're jerseys hanging, on the rafters, that type of thing. Does that help you out as a coach?
Yeah, I think, well, first of all, I screened for a lot of the jerseys in the draft. So my jersey is not up there, but I said a lot of great picks for some All-Americans. But no, honestly, the players don't. They would humor me, but they don't want to hear about my time. It's not about, the good old days and those things. And so really, what I am able to relate to them is, how much it takes going into sacrifices I know they're making, the commitment I know they're making, the pride in the institution, pride in Washburn, what we're doing. But more so, we want them to connect with each other, we want them to connect with all these people that are investing in our program, and we want them, one of our core values is connection, and we want them to kind of put all of that together, to build their own reputation, build their own team, because every year there's something that makes each team special, and so that's more what we're digging into rather than, what made my team special when we were here.
How much goes into off the court to get to know your players? Because it's not just X's and O's. What do you do to try to make that connection, as you said?
A lot of it is just authenticity and interaction with your players. I'm fortunate. I just absolutely won the lottery with the staff that I have. As far as I recruited both of them heavily just because of what I do on them as people. Their priority is first and foremost the student athletes and their experience and connecting with them, and that shows. So because I think our staff genuinely cares about the connection and relationship with those student athletes, that's what allows us to kind of push the harder on the floor. How do we do that? I just, as a brand new baby, so I've been in the office as much as I can, but I try to, when I do have those moments in those meetings, it's honest, it's to the point, it's more about them, and really kind of meeting them where they are and seeing where they're at. And then my assistants are really good at doing great, so I'm just sitting down and writing down, just making sure that the foundation.
We're talking with the head coach of the Washburn women's basketball team, Laura Wesley, in her first year. Game number 1 coming up against Nebraska, 1 o'clock on Sunday. The Washburn women taking on Nebraska Cornhuskers. All right, how tough is it to, you only have like 15 practices. How tough is it to put all your system in 15 practices? That seems like it's an impossible task.
Yeah, we are far from having everything in, and I think that's a mistake I made early in my career, is trying to have everything ready for day one, and then, instead we try to get the essentials in, we're trying to really, instead of have everything in and be not very good at anything, try to have 3 or 4 things and try and get a lot better at those, and then we'll add another piece and another piece, and that'll go on, through February. Continue to kind of and add little things. I don't think that was great, stuff like that. But I'm really excited. We have enough into play now. We just put a new bound play in yesterday, so we have enough into complete, and now it's just compete at a higher level.
All right, let's get to some of the players. You lost 3 starters. Hunter Bentley, you also lost everybody into Shea Sanchez, but you got some players back. You've got Abby Oliver, you've got Macy Devlin, you've got Mackenzie Gamble, Lauren Cassidy, Aubrey Dewey, Emma Chapman. So it's not as if they don't know each other. They play with each other. They know what's going on. So there is some connection with them. It's just trying to get them to play at your system and your speed and your philosophy. How is that going?
I couldn't ask for a better group to work with in this situation. I'm kind of pretty proud of them and how they work every day. They've been so receptive to everything that we're doing. Just really fortunate to work with this group. And, it's fun to see their personality. I think everyone's always said that's okay. And now we're starting to see personalities come out. I think they're getting more comfortable with what we're installing on the staff in general. And the defiance is tremendous.
Is there expectations in this game? Because you are facing a really good basketball team. Amy Williams' group, they went to the NCAA tournament last year. They returned all 5 starters. What do you expect? What do you want? Is there goals? I mean, the final score doesn't matter, but maybe the way the game does. How do you view this one? Because it's a unique situation.
Yeah, it's a really exciting opportunity. Coach Williams is one of the most respected schools in the country, and it's really neat. She used to coach at Rogers Stadium, where you have been as well, big city top program. So it's a great opportunity to play for us and as a audience. It's really breaking down environment. Like you said, it's personas are relevant to us. It's really how big are we still carrying ourselves well, applying and are we with out there accepting whatever it is to us. So we want to compete well, we want to make sure it's not a waste of time.
Do we got any superstitions? Do we got anything going in for the first game? Do you have anything that you got to do? You know, the guy you're taking over from was the king of superstitions, as you all know. So I got to know, what can I expect there on this first game?
You know that I'm sure there are. There's been so many. I've done them for so long. I know we didn't notice that before. I know they're not at the level of Coach Mack, but I'll probably steal a few names that have been, given money for people that needed on game day. And I've already got my gum delivery from Dan. And so, I'm set up for success in the Superstition Foundation. But it's just weird. It seemed like just ritual for me. But somebody else is superstition.
Well, I'm looking forward to it. I know a lot of people are as well. The Laura Wesley era for the Washburn women starts up on Sunday, 1 o'clock with the tip-off there from Lincoln. Best of luck. We see you on Sunday.
Thanks, Jake. Appreciate it.
That is Laura Wesley, first-year head coach of the Washburn women's basketball team. So excited for this upcoming season for the Washburn women. That'll do it here from Skinny Sports Bar and Grill. We will talk to you on Saturday, 1:30 with pregame coverage, 2 o'clock with the tip-off from kickoff, from Doc Riley Stadium. Then on Sunday, 1 o'clock tip-off, 12:45 pregame coverage from Pinnacle Bank Arena. And then on Tuesday, it'll be the Washburn Ned against Kansas State. So a lot of Washburn news coming your way right here on your home for Washburn Athletics, Country 106.9.